Good evening, everybody. You are watching the live Monica Makes It Happen Facebook show. Over 200 shows, and this is going to be my favorite one. It's because it's all about the money. Show us the money. If you are worried about living in the city and how to afford things, you are not alone. All of us are struggling right now. Some of us living paycheck to paycheck. The rent is so high. Going to the grocery store can cause anxiety. We understand, and that's why we have a financial empowerment coach right now live answering your questions. So please comment. But first, who's making it happen for us? Take a look.
Monica Makes It Happen is sponsored by London Disability, dedicated to helping the disabled get Social Security benefits.
All right, and we're back live with our empowerment coach, financial empowerment coach. Thank you, Melody, for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me on, Monica. I am excited to have this conversation with your audience because money is something that we just can't stop talking about because it touches every single parts of our lives.
So true. And just a few stats here from rentcafe.com. You know it's serious when I'm putting on my glasses because these numbers are crazy. The cost of living is 26% higher than the New York State average and 95% higher than the national average. So we're really hurting here locally. So if you're watching all across the country, even internationally, you're probably feeling the pinch. We asked our viewers, and you guys really responded to this. So we're going to ask a lot of your questions. So don't worry, keep watching. But just to start off, if we are living paycheck to paycheck, what is the best way to manage our money?
So if we're living paycheck to paycheck, one of the best ways to manage our money is to honestly get really clear on how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. You would honestly be really surprised that a lot of people don't even know how much money they are spending on a monthly basis. So by getting clear on how much money you have going out, by creating a budget or a spending plan, is going to be one of the best ways to start managing your money if you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck.
It's so good. And it's so true. And 64% of Americans right now are living paycheck to paycheck. And get this, a lot of them are making six figures. So are we doing something wrong if we are making six figures or close to that and we're still living paycheck to paycheck? Are we doing something wrong, Melody?
Monica, I never want to say that people are doing anything wrong because there is a lot happening in this world that is causing our money not to stretch as far as it used to. We have a recession that is looming, inflation that isn't slowing down, and then we also have layoffs as a free space on our bingo cards that nobody has ever wanted. And so we're really feeling the impact when we go to the grocery stores, when we try to pay for our everyday necessities like, medicine and things like that. And for a lot of Americans, a lot of people feel like they can't really use the money that they have to do the things that they used to do because the economy can sometimes feel like it's out of control and they don't have any control in their own hands to really decide how they're going to manage their money the best way.
That tip that you just gave about knowing what you're spending and what you are bringing in, just that simple idea is so profound because so many of us live clueless. Hate to say that about myself, but if we are living paycheck to paycheck, as many of our viewers are, what's a realistic savings goal? Because you just automatically, you're just like, I'm just barely making it, Melody. How am I supposed to save?
Now, you're going to hear a lot of conflicting information out there in terms of what is a really good savings goal. Some people are going to say you need to save 3 months worth of living expenses. Some are going to say you need to save 6 months worth of living expenses. I am on the mindset that you need to just start saving as much as you can as early as possible. And honestly, it doesn't even matter if you're only able to save just $5 or $10 a month. You want to start to create that habit of saving money or paying yourself first and just allowing that money to continually grow. And as things change in your income, you're going to be able to start saving more. So I would just think about my situation, my family size, and start with maybe 2 weeks or 1 month's worth of savings, and then begin to build from there.
Small and build the muscle, that money muscle. And Ree is saying something really profound, that savings comes before spending. So maybe to save first and then spend if you can. I love that. So what tips can you give us to help us kind of be prepared? I love this number one. Keep track of your money. What do you mean?
When I say keep track of your money, there are tons of people who just don't feel like a budget works for them. And I totally get it. A lot of people have not had a great experience when it comes to budgeting. But even if you don't like doing a budget, you can put together a spending plan where you plan how you want to spend your money. And that's a great way to keep track of how much money is coming in and then how much money is going out. And if you don't have a budget or a spending plan, this is the perfect time to start creating one right now.
I love that. So put it on paper is what you're saying. Or if like old school, like me, paper, or, in your phone, see what you're spending. I love that. And split up your expenses. What do you mean by that?
So once you start to create this budget or your spending plan, whether you're using the good old paper and pen method or you're using a digital app, you're going to want to separate your expenses or the money that's going out into two categories. And those categories are going to be your essential expenses, which are going to be those expenses that you need for day-to-day survival. Think like your rent, your mortgage, medical needs like getting medicine, or even buying food from the grocery store. And then you also want a category for your non-essential expenses. And these non-essential expenses are going to be the expenses that you don't necessarily need them to survive, but let's be honest, they add some comfort to our lives. And those are going to be your streaming services, maybe going on vacation for us lady, and even some gentlemen out there getting your nails and your hair done, those things. So you want to split those into different categories and then look to see which ones you can either reduce, maybe cut back on, or temporarily cut out altogether to free up extra money so that you can do other things with that money.
You know what I did? I got my bank statement, mailed to me, printed out like old school. And I went through with a highlighter, certain things like essentials and non-essentials. And it was so eye-opening of how much money is non-essential that I'm doing right now. So that's such a good thing. What else? Pay yourself first. What do you mean by that?
So pay yourself first. And this kind of goes to the point that we made that saving comes before spending. And so a lot of us make it a priority to pay our bills first. And you know what? We grew up with our parents saying, you got to make sure you pay your bills. You got to make sure you pay your obligations. But we also can't forget to pay ourselves. And when we pay ourselves, it's basically making sure that we're putting money aside to take care of ourselves, just in case there happens to be a interruption in income that's coming in, or maybe our income is being reduced. And so some people might call this an emergency fund. I like to call it a life happens fund, because life is going to happen and you need to be prepared one way or another to be able to handle it when it does happen.
I really love it. And Raquel Javier, thank you for watching. I love you, Raquel. She's just saying thanks for what you do. We're always trying to help create resources and connect resources to our viewers like you, Melody. Melody is talking all money tonight. So if you're just joining us, make sure to ask your questions. We have so many questions to get to. But I mean, what's next? So take care of debt. So how do I pay down my debts? Let's say if I am living pretty close to my paycheck.
Listen, Monica, I transitioned into the financial wellness space after realizing that I had $212,000 of debt. And wait for it. It didn't include my mortgage. So I know all about learning how to take care of your debt. And so when you think about debt is stealing from your future to fuel your present. And so you are spending that money now in the form of making payments. And so you aren't really able to do that to build wealth, to save, to invest, or do the things that you want to do. And so you want to create a plan that's going to allow you to pay down your debt as quickly as possible. And this could be by creating a SMART goal that's going to help you stay accountable to paying down your debt. You can use a method like the debt snowball, the debt avalanche, or even the debt blizzard. But you want to go ahead and pay off your debt as quickly as possible so that income is freed up so that you can do what you need to do instead of just always giving everybody else your money.
Do I not know this? All I know is the snowballs like we see in winter time. What's a snowball?
So the debt snowball is when you are going to categorize your debts or list your debts in order of smallest to largest. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tackle that first debt, which is going to be your smallest debt, while making the minimum payments on the other ones. And after you pay off that first debt, you're going to roll that payment into the next debt, which is going to create an even bigger payment, which you think about a snowball going down a hill. It gets bigger as it goes down, and it's going to help you pay off your debt a lot faster. And the benefit of a debt snowball Snowball is that not only are you paying off your debt, but it also gives you that quick win really early on. So it gives you the momentum to keep going forward.
At the momentum, and I love that. I don't know if you saw that video of them counting the coins. That's how much money I have. So that was very appropriate. Thank you for showing that video. That was what I have in my savings account. But back to you. I mean, you are extraordinary for being able to pay off $212,000 in debt. If anyone's so you know the real deal. You're not just speaking as an expert who doesn't understand. You got yourself. What was the number one thing that got you out of that debt? Was it a mindset? Was it a motivation? Was it desperation? What was it?
I'm going to be honest with you. I had to make the decision that I no longer wanted to live in the current state that I was living. Now, to be, transparent, I didn't even know that I had that much debt until I sat down and calculated. So I had to get real with how much money was coming in and how much money was going out. But then once I saw how much debt I had and how it was limiting me and the life that I wanted to be able to live, I decided to make a choice that I was no longer going to let debt control my life, but instead I was going to go ahead and pay it off. And then I got really strategic around creating a spending plan. So I wanted to make sure that I knew where every single penny was going. I didn't care if it was going to savings, it was going to debt. I needed to know. So I was micromanaging my money. And then I went out and I got side jobs so that I can earn extra money so that I can throw more money at the debt. And that's the mindset that I kept up for about 3 years. And actually under 3 years, I was able to pay off over $100,000 of my debt. And it was just having that mindset of, I didn't want to live this way again, making sure I was tracking how much money was going in and going out, and then also earning extra money so that I could throw it at my debt.
Love it. And we did such a great thing. Elle and Amanda, so smart, my producers, they asked earlier in the week on our social media platforms, what financial tips do you wish you had learned growing up? And I know I have my own, which I'm going to add at the end of this. We had so many good people. Hargrove Cynthia says, invest so my money could compound. Smart, smart, smart. Yes, yes, yes. John Spyack says, how to play the stock market, buying and trading stocks and why to do that. Wish he did that earlier. Me too. And then 3-4 Law says, how taxes, loans, and mortgages work, and I did a story about a high school class that actually learned that in high school. We never learned that in high school. So that was a good comment. I love that one. And how to invest in real estate. Phasm Bacchus says that. Hi, Phasm. Fenderismo says that saving should come before spending. Again, I love that. I love that. What's a tip that you wish you learned, Melanie?
Oh man, Monica, so many. When I look back, I'm like, Mom, Dad, why didn't you guys sit me down and just have these conversations, But a tip that I really wish, somebody would told me when I was working my part-time job, my first part-time job, I would have learned about investing, because as somebody mentioned, the power of compound is just one of those phenoms that's going to help your money make money for you. And I like to call it sleep coins, because you earn the money, you invest it, and it's going to grow while you're sleeping and in the background. So you really don't have to do anything else. So I really wish somebody would have taught me about investing, as well as taught me how to use credit cards as a wealth tool instead of something that just allows me to swipe, get the item, and then make minimum payments.
Elle's pushing me to mention mine, and mine is kind of embarrassing. I rented for so long, and I spent so much money on rent, and I finally, in my later life, decided to buy something. So all that money was now going to me instead of somebody else, a landlord, and I did that just recently, and I wish I would have done it earlier because I was spending so much money on rent, and now it's getting easier and easier with programs, especially for low-income families. We know about them, and hopefully we can link to some, but Melody, I just love to end with some hope. First of all, you were so helpful tonight, and I learned so much. And I always feel like I learned so much from our shows, but tonight you were just spectacular. But I want you to give some hope to someone who might be watching saying, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can't afford where I'm living, and I would like to be financially free.
So the piece of hope or advice that I would like to give to anybody who is feeling like they are living paycheck to paycheck and they can't see their way out is to not give up. And I know that sounds, easier said than done, but literally there are things happening every single day that can change your outcome, that can change your life. And it first starts with just changing your mindset, picking up a resource or a tool, or reaching out to a financial coach such as myself to get help with how you can start to create a plan, so that instead of your money just going everywhere else instead of where you want it, you can create a plan for it that's going to help you live the life that you live.
Let's end with habits. I'm so about this Atomic Habits book that I'm reading.
Ooh.
It's all about habits. Talk to me about what people can do habit wise to get better discipline.
One of the first habits that you can start to create, and I sound like a broken record here, but it's really all about figuring out where your money is going, tracking your spending. And one of the habits that I created was I would, make sure that I would use a budgeting app. And even if I went to the gas station and put gas in my car, I would not pull away from the gas pump until I tracked it in my budgeting app. So create a habit of tracking where your money is going, and also create a habit of paying yourself first. And it honestly can be as simple as setting up an automatic transfer on your payday so that it goes into your savings account of choice. And so that way you don't have to really do anything manually. It's automated, but it's making it so that it becomes a part of your daily life, something that doesn't feel like a chore, but just something that you do when you are, going to the gas station, maybe going to the grocery store, maybe you decided to go out to dinner. Track that spending, set up that savings plan, make sure you have these money conversations with your family. Once you start to make that a natural part of your everyday life, it won't feel so foreign and it won't feel like a chore.
That just blew me away, what you just said. I think you've changed my life. I'm going to do that immediately on my phone. And I hope we help somebody tonight who might be struggling. Melody, you were incredible. And of course,
Thank
we're going
you.
to have all your information linked to all of our social media pages. Will you come back and talk money again with us?
Anytime you all would like me to come back, I am ready and willing to go.
Well, it is my favorite topic of conversation, of course. I do love my children and my dog, but I love money too. We all love money, and we want to be able to afford to live here and live comfortably. Thank you, Melody, for all the tips tonight. And of course, you know where to watch us every night, right here on Pix 11, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. Please check me out on TikTok. Shameless promotion of my new TikTok page. And of course, Pix 11 News. Melody, I know you watch every night at 4, 5, 6, and 10. We have the morning show. We have new shows coming as well, and the weekends. Don't forget to watch. We're always making it happen, and Melody was making it happen. Money is making it happen. Thanks, everyone. And you know what, Melody, you do have to say your name starts with an M, so we know it means